And welcome everyone. Welcome ladies and gentlemen. We are here in the MSL Silver Division on Derelict Watcher for the tiebreaker of the winner's bracket, or this is not just the winner's bracket, this is the actual grand finals. We are here to watch an epic matchup between the pink Protoss in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, Glenn, this guy, that's his name, probably Glenn, that's what I'm guessing, and his opponent, the green Zerg, the Bean. Not the green bean? Is that, I think that's intentional. Would you not agree? Green bean? Either way, this is going to be a really excellent matchup. These players actually met up in the winner's bracket finals, and then I do believe that Glenn was knocked down. Of course, I could be completely wrong. It's been a while since I've looked at the brackets, and as we're kind of getting into the game here, I just want to mention that I apologize to everyone for how tardy I've been in getting these games up. I noticed that these are the only two games I have for the grand finals, actually, and so I shot out an email asking to see where the other games were. They're not up on Binary Beast, so after not hearing for a while, I just decided to go for it. So, why not? That's just how I'm going to roll. So, this is what's been going on. The other really great news is that I have not been idle with my time. The cool thing that I did this last week was that I built a subwoofer. Who else gets to do that? I did. This guy. Either way, it looks like we have a 15 hatch, or maybe a 14 hatch out of Bean. We should be seeing a pool go down as the next thing. It would be very rare to see hatch gas. Ooh, okay. We are going to see hatch gas pool. Interesting. So he's getting gas earlier, so then he can have faster speed on his lings, but he's delaying the lings by quite a bit. Notice there's no hatchery. So this is either very brazen, and he's assuming that his opponent will not be aggressive, which at this point looks to be false. Or he forgot it. But it is going down now, so it's not a big deal. Just notice how incredibly slow Overlords are, and this is why it's really popular to drone scout, because although Overlords are great, they can't get touched for a while on a map this large, things might not go well. So the food counts are very, very equal at this point in time. Looking at the workers, look, they're almost the same. Brilliant. We do have the second gas geyser done for Glenn. He does have enough gas to start warp gate. There it goes. He has this gateway here, but he has not actually decided to make use of it yet. If you're watching, I think that's something that you might want to do more of. One thing that a lot of pro players do is that they have that first gateway, and they don't really want to commit to building that zealot if they don't have to. But they don't want to get surprised by Zerglings either. Ooh, and this is snuck in the main base. Can anyone else say that? Anyway, so they'll start building a zealot, and then when they go scout, they'll see if their opponent, the Zerg, went for a fast pool, and if they did, they'll let the zealot complete, and if not, then they'll just cancel it. Then you get to save that money and put it to something else. Good scouting going on here. Just going to see just the gas. And I think that's basically all, actually. We have a forward pylon here. It looks like he's going to be attempting to go up to that second base here, while in the meantime, Bean is deciding to be very macro-oriented. And back at home, Glenn just continuing to start to tech up Warp Gate. Looks like it's had maybe one Chrono Boost spent on it at this point in time. We have the Mothership Core coming out, and then after that we should see continued probe production. He's starting to fall down in that worker count as he's 2 bases to his opponent's almost 3. But then he should be, what, I meant 1 base to almost 3, but instead he's going to be 2 bases to 3, and that should actually work out roughly the same. Although Bean been able to get away with being very greedy for quite some time. Look at this, only drones in the production line. What units are out there? Notice there's no fighting units at all, because Zerg have this ability to flood out units. So if you don't pressure them, they might just make only drones. And that's called powering drones. If you want to learn how to play Zerg well, make sure that when you lose because you've been powering drones too hard. Because it's a lot easier to learn how to taper back a little bit and when to actually build units than it is to have to remember, oh yeah, I should build drones. So looking up here, it looks like he's starting to build off that wall. He wants to keep things going. He's starting... Yeah, he's not banking tons. He's starting to invest in a little bit of tech. He does have the Templar Archives on its way. This is not a Templar Archives. It's a Twilight Council. What was I thinking? Another thing here being, I would say creep tumors. They're awesome. You should use them. You guys see that? Larva just flopping off of there. Nice job on the injects. He does have the hatchery and the queens on separate control groups. I wonder if he's using the backspace trick. Looking at the timing of these, maybe not, actually. Either way, so backspace trick. You guys should look it up if you're a Zerg player. When you press backspace, it centers you on a hatchery. So what you do is you get all your queens in one control group, all the ones that are right next to a hatchery. Then you press backspace and then hit the control group and then hit V and click on the same spot on, because it centers your vision on the hatchery. So you just press backspace, control group, V, click, and then backspace, V, click. And it cycles through, and then the closest queen is the one that does the inject, and it helps you macro up really, really well. Big thing going out here is that we're going to see a Dark Shrine. So big thing to call out here is that Bean has been in Crazy Beast macro mode. Awesome. What happens when you macro really hard when you're droning, you're starting to get that... Well, he's actually got a ton of gas right now. I would not be surprised at all to see a Spire and a whole bunch of mutas come out here in a little while, especially with that flood of Overlords. But what that... Yeah, there it goes. The thing that you don't have while you're trying to macro really hard is you generally don't tech very much. He is starting to get the tech up a little bit as now, but let's see. Notice there's no evolution chamber at all, so there's no detection. So Dark Templar could be crazy good. Although he does have Lair, so he should be able to get Overseers. It just depends on how long it'll take him to react, because without the... Oh my goodness. I don't know if he's going to have any detection. This could actually be really bad. Bean, you're in an excellent position, but if you can't detect, then you can't detect. 70 drones to 36. Look at that. Excellent move there. He can morph into an Overseer. Okay. Back in the day, it used to require an Overseer, or Evolution Chamber, before you could morph into an Overseer. So you can notice that there's Dark Templar there. He really... So to get the optimum use out of Dark Templar, you don't keep them with your army, you instead spread them out. It's really hard to tell. Does he know? Spine crawlers, spine crawlers. A whole bunch of spine crawlers. No spore crawlers and no Overseer in production as of yet. Ooh, and he's going to recall. Should have left those Dark Templar there. Put him in the main base. Put him in the natural. Spread him out so not just a single Overseer can see everything. But good job there. Sniping off that base. That does delay your opponent pretty well, although I don't think you got too many workers killed. Yeah, just one worker kill and a base, so that does count. Let's be frank here. Wow, neither player has lost very much at all at this point. You know, everyone's kind of staying back, trying to play things safe. He's starting to build an observer, but here are the mutas. This is going to be the thing that I think is really, really difficult to deal with. There are no cannons in the mineral lines, although it looks like Bean is starting to, not Bean, Glenn is starting to throw down some additional gateways. Needs to start spending that money, and he should have the ability to warp in enough, because he's only got 7 Mutalisks. Mutas are annoying in low numbers, but they're not deadly. Once they get up to around 20 or so, then they're deadly. As soon as enough Overlords come out, I think we're going to see another 15 mutas come out, and then at that point, how do you deal with that? I guarantee Dark Templar are terrible at shooting them, because they can't jump up there, which is so sad. They're so cool otherwise. So, that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah, we have 14 more mutas coming out, spending that huge bank. There's no upgrades down at all. There are upgrades for Glenn. So the ground army of Glenn is going to be much more powerful, but it's just if he's going to be able to deal with this gaggle of mutas at all. And right now, that's not a full gaggle. This is just a cluster. That's a cluster of mutas. I prefer to call them murders of mutas, because you can have murders of crows, so why not murders of mutas? So, still no more pro production out of Glenn. I think that's a little bit disconcerting. You're still not up to kind of that optimum level. Usually you would say that somewhere around 76 is about the right number. And it looks like, ooh, well, some of these mutas might get picked off by the stalkers. No, but now he does know that they exist. He knows that they are on the map, or he should know. And he should be very scared, actually. We do have Warp Gate. There's still no cannons in the back. That was just a pylon that was easy to place. Looks like we're going to have an engagement back here, and it looks like it will bring those mutas back, which is something good to know. Some force fields trying to block out some of the Zerglings. Does a decent job. And, okay, we're going to see how the engagement here goes. The Stalkers are decent in number, but I don't think they're going to be able to deal with all of these mutas. How many mutas do we have left? Have the unit count. We have 22 mutas, and all those Stalkers, they do go down. Look at that, but also, remember, there's no detection under production. 9 more mutas. Ooh, but the DTs can actually take damage. Oh, but they don't. Okay, he just needs to go ahead and do some damage because there's absolutely nothing to detect. He's going to go counter countering exactly now. He's got 22. He's going to have 9 more on the way. He does have 2 Overseers morphing. Where are those DTs? Where do they go? They're making their way straight into the main. Oh, you need to target down something very important, or just go straight for worker kills, because you're not going to be able to deal with that, but it looks like his APM is elsewhere. There's a whole bunch of Stalkers. You need to spread those Stalkers out. The balance attack is what makes mutas have any DPS. Spread them out. Spread them out. Blink. Blink underneath and around. There's just not enough here. Keep warping in. Looks like you might be able to make that work. We do have the Dark Templar here finally getting cleaned up, but not before a lot of drones go down. 37 workers killed. And if these Stalkers here, he does have a decent number of warp gates. But they're not going to get depowered anytime soon, though. Congratulations on the no Artosis pylon. That's a huge deal. Also warping in a oh no. I think you could actually have dealt with that. So good. Okay, good game there. Being an excellent job macroing up and dealing with the fact that you got a little bit of harassment. And Glenn, good job. You did actually a lot of damage. There was a lot of workers killed. There was only actually 1 mining base left. I actually think, not saying anything poorly, I think you might have just tapped out a little bit early. Warping in a couple Archons, or Dark Templar, and making some Archons, I think would have shooed those away. You'd had to warp in someplace else, though. You might have had to actually sack the workers here. Another pro tip, throw down a cannon whenever it gets to be about that time, like 9 to 11 minutes in the game, when mutas can start happening. And once you want to start moving out, throw a cannon or 2 in your mineral lines, because the opportunity cost of you leaving and having to come back becomes much greater. So I actually think the DT play worked really well there. Got a lot of damage done, and if you'd held off those mutas, I think you would have been in great shape. Because looking at it, you're actually ahead in the worker count, and you had upgrades. So anyway, good game. I'm excited to see what happens in the next game, because, sorry, I apologize, we only have 2 of these games. So I'm going to be declaring whoever wins both of them the winner, but because it's only 2 and the winners, the grand finals are supposed to be best of 7s, I may incorrectly do that, so I pre-apologize if I mislead anyone, but that's all I got to go off of. So once again, excellent games. We'll be back in a second with game number 2.